A very good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
A very good morning to all the participants for today. That is from 11th, 12th, and the PUC category. So this evaluation round, the final evaluation round, started from 20th. First day, that was Sunday, we had presentations for 8th standard. And then on Monday, we had presentations for 9th. Yesterday for the 10th standard, and today for the 11th and 12th, along with the PUC. Okay, and every day we had morning sessions for the poster presentations and the afternoon sessions for the paper presentations. So I hope some of you or all of you would have seen the YouTube links and seen how the evaluation and the presentation were going on. So most of the things will be known to you. However, I'll just briefly introduce them to you once again. So the Lake Conference, that's Lake 2020. It's a journey that started in 1998, and it's a biennial conference, which means it happens once in every 2 years. And every year it is conducted with a specific theme. And this year's theme, as you all know, is ecosystem. It's structure, functions, goods, and services. And under this, there was 20 sub-themes that were allotted on which you have done your projects. So, which you will be presenting today. Then the orientation was done in the month of August, and there were 2 rounds of evaluation before this, and you're all selected for the final round of evaluation. So I wish you all the very best for today's presentation. So let's begin today's session. And to begin with, I would request TVR sir to give you a brief introduction about this year's conference. Okay, he's just signing in, so we will talk to him. And while he's joining, I would like to brief you all about the evaluation process. That is similar to the previous 2 rounds. You will have 30 marks allotted. So the first 10 marks is for your poster design, the color combinations, how you have aligned the texts and the content in it. The second set of marks, that is the next 10 marks, is basically for how you orally present it. So how well you are going to interpret the data and put it across within the given time frame, that is 4 minutes. And also the last 10 marks for your discussion and project quality. So how well judges might ask you the questions based on your project or the subject of your project to understand how well you know your subject. So based on that, they will allot another 10 marks. So totally 30 marks will be allotted. And based on this, we will be selecting the Sahyadri Young Ecologist for this year's conference. And lastly, I would like to instruct you about the time. Please restrict yourself to 4 minutes in the morning session. because it is a poster presentation. So you will hear the first bell at 3 minutes and the second bell at end of 4 minutes. So once you hear the first bell, I would request all of you to conclude your presentation and give out the or highlight the outcomes of your project so that you can finish it within 4 minutes. Okay, so by saying this, I wish you all the best. And now I request TVR sir to address all the participants about this year's theme. Okay, he's just joining in. So are there any questions by the participants or the teachers? How many of you saw the previous presentations in the last 3 days? Are you all able to unmute yourself and speak?
Yes, sir.
So none of you actually watched any of the presentations in the last 3 days?
Sir, we raise hand.
Aditi, that was not clear. Could you please repeat that? Oh, you raised the hand. Okay. You can speak right now. So Aditi watched. Other than Aditi, anybody else watched?
I saw the 10th standard presentations.
You saw the 10th standard presentations. Okay, good. So you all have the flavor of how the evaluation is going to be. So let us start today's session. And now I request Dr. TV Ramchandra sir to explain about this year's theme of the conference. Over to you, sir.
Now, yes, sir. You see whether it is visible. This is 11th and 12th, no? 11th. Thank you. Okay, good morning to all the students who are attending the pre-Lake conference. You are all invited to Lake 2020 conference. Is going to be during 28th to 30th of December. That means from Monday to Wednesday. You are most welcome to take part in the conference virtually. Only the few students we are going to invite for the final presentation or to take part in the event depending on the performance today. So as you all know, this is a 12th event we are organizing. We started the journey way back in 98. Every even year we are conducting. That means 98, 2000, like that. Every even year we have done that. And many students are benefited by this conference by interaction with the experts, especially the international and national experts. This gives a forum for your capacity building. We look forward for your active participation and also interaction with the colleagues, that means the co-participants and co-experts, so that you will be benefited from your career point of view. So the conference is during 28 to 30th. Okay, now let us try to understand why we are organizing the conference. Okay, see, when you look at any ecosystem, see, for example, here you see the river, but you see that the surrounded by the forest. There is a link between the forest and river. We'll try to understand that whether there is a link, and if there's a link, how much water we get and what kind of forests are to be there in the catchment. Okay, now if we do not understand this, see, let us look at the situation in one of the river basin in Karnataka. This is way back in 90s when I was a student. I used to see the water, and probably that is because of the vegetation. Now you see the same region, people have removed the vegetation. I do not see the water in the region. That means there is a link between the water availability in the region along with the kind of the forest that is there in the catchment. These are the kinds of the scientific the investigation what we have done. We'll be sharing in the conference. And recently we have published an article covering the 4 river basin. We have done a comparative assessment that is available in the current science the journal. Now, when we have a development, the development, we would like to have a development wherein water is available so that everyone gets the water. Once you have the water, you will have the food. So that development is called sustainable development, which will ensure clean air, water, and environment to all, and it will sustain the natural resources. And for this, we need to have a sensible citizens with a green lifestyle. That means when you have the sustenance of natural resources, all of us will be secure and we will survive, and there will be peace in the system. Wherever there is a resource scarcity, you see there are conflicts in the region. For example, if there is no water in the locality, you see people across the families fight among them. Within the family also, there are fights for the water. So that means the availability of natural resources decides the kind of the survival in the system. Now let us try to understand this further. As a student, you all know about the food chain. When you look at this food chain, you have to understand the laws of thermodynamics. The laws of thermodynamics talk about the energy and material transfer. This is what happens when the food is processed and then eaten by other animals. There is energy and material transfer, and also there is a loss of energy to an extent of 10%. Law of entropy also you can understand from this. Then whatever is left in the system is converted into elemental form by the bacteria and fungi. That's where in the ecosystem there is nothing called waste. You will see waste where more and more human beings use the material which are not assimilated by nature. Which are these materials like plastic, pizza, etc.? When you place an order for pizza, you are not only getting an unhealthy food, you are also contributing to the plastic, etc. in the system. That means wherever you see more and more waste people, you will see the waste in the system. This is the first message. Now, let me take you to the Western Ghat. Western Ghat is a home for all of us. It extends from Kerala to Gujarat. Its length is about 1,600 kilometers. It is a hotspot, and it is the home for the numerous biological organisms, the plants and animals. Now, let us try to understand how many species are there on the earth. See, when you look at the literature, our scriptures, it talks about 8 to 12 million species are there on the earth. And what we have documented or what we have estimated as on date is about 1.3 million. That means as a students of science, as a students of the Lake Symposium, you have a lot of responsibility. That means you need to explore, find out where all these species occur, what are their medicinal properties, and what are other properties also, so that you can think about conservation. Once you know the importance of the species, you will also think of conserving that so that you will have the species throughout your life and for the next generation. Now, let us look at the species occurrence in the Western Ghats. I said Western Ghats extends from Kerala to Gujarat from 8 degree to the 22-degree latitude. When you look at the latitudinal gradient versus the species occurrence, you will see the species occur in the region 8 to 14 degrees. That means we have the highest number of species corresponding to the Kerala and Karnataka part of the Western Ghats. So that is why we need to protect the Western Ghats so that we will have a diversity of life. Diversity of life includes the plants and animals. That means once you have diversity of life, you will have diverse food and diverse medicine along with the clean water. So now let us try to think about water, how as an individual we can minimize the water wastage in the system. One is all of you, when you opt for healthy diet, you are also conserving the water. Let us try to understand how this healthy diet helps in conserving the water. For example, you all start eating more and more pulses than the cereals, you are conserving the water. Now let us see what are the benefits of eating pulses. See, as students, your brain has to work. So that means eating pulses helps in optimal brain functioning. And you also need to be slim. So that means when you eat pulses, it helps in the weight management. There is no lipid accumulation in the body. It's a good source of vitamin and mineral. It reduces the risk of cancer. It helps in digestion and boosts metabolism. And it lowers the diabetes and lowers the blood pressure. If you talk about elders at home, your parents or grandparents at home might have this problem. But if they switch over to the healthy diet, probably they are also addressing the issue of the blood pressure and diabetes. Now let us see, when you start eating more and more pulses, we need to grow the pulses. What are the advantages of growing pulses? See, to grow 1 kg of pulse, you need only 200 liters of water. Whereas for the cereals like rice and wheat, you need 3,000 to 5,000 liters of water. For sugar, for every kg of sugar, you need 10,000 liters of water. While for beef or the livestock sector, for every kg of beef, you require 15,000 liters of water. Now you see that by eating protein through the pulses, you are also conserving the water. More importantly, in the villages where human-animal conflicts are there, where the wild animals come regularly, if you grow pulses, the wild animal doesn't eat pulses, pulse crop. That is where you are also addressing the human-animal conflict. That means not only you address the wildlife conflict, you also address the water scarcity in the region. Now I'll give an example of a person who was having the healthy diet. They see this person, when he was a director of the place, he had blood pressure, sugar. But after retirement, if you look at his dinner plate, he has a 5 varieties of vegetable, 5 varieties of fruit, each of 50 to 100 grams, and a bowl of pulses. So when he started having this thing, that today every dinner plate consists of a diverse food. So when he started having that, so we saw the improvement in his health. So that today is about 74 or 75. He neither have blood pressure nor sugar. That means the healthy diet has given him the nutritional and also the health. Apart from that, physiological, psychological, sociological, environmental benefit, emotional and spiritual aspect. So that means when you have healthy diet, you will think positively. When you think positively, you will minimize the waste. You will respect mother nature, and also you respect elders at home. Now that is what you see, that the health, the WHO also talks about it. It is not just the absence of disease, but also state of well-being. When you think positively, then you have the health in your system. If you think negatively, when you find fault with everything, that will lead to the unhealthy situation. For that, you need to have a healthy diet. So when you have the healthy diet, see, when you work in this kind of a clean environment, you will also have the harmonious state of mind, body, and spirit. Now, this gives a glimpse of the youngsters who work with us. They have been working with us for a long time. Some of them are PhD students, and the success in our research is mainly because of the youth contribution. I wish you all the success in the program. I hope you all will present well, and you will disseminate knowledge so that many more get benefited from your presentation. We are going to archive all this in YouTube. Any point of time, people can download and view this. As you look at the earlier program, what we conducted during the thing, already about 600 to 1,000 people have viewed the videos. Please keep this in mind. What you speak will be archived, and what is archived is accessible to the people, and that is how you all can communicate your knowledge. You can disseminate the knowledge. Please be a responsible citizen. The country requires a responsible youngsters, so that we can make this country sustainable, developed country. You know, the development with the sustainability of natural resources. That is where, as a youth, you can contribute. I wish you the success in your career. I look forward that you all transforming yourself as a youngster who are going to be the asset to the nation. The country requires the talented youngsters, and you will be one among those bunch of talented youngsters. I wish you a success, and we look forward to your presentation. I'll conclude my talk, and I again invite you all to the program during 28th to 30th. We will issue the participation certificate to only those who attend all those 3 days. You can attend virtually, You can also post questions. There are options to pose the questions. You can do that. And we are going to finalize the winners of the Sahyadri Young Ecologist Award, and we will announce it during one of the days. We do not know which day we are going to announce it. That means you need to be mentally alert. When you have to be mentally and physically alert, you need to have a healthy diet. Please have a healthy diet and take part in the program. I wish you a success in your career. Dijo?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, students, just to summarize what sir has mentioned in the last part of his talk, uh, you will you will have to. I mean, it is mandatory for all of you to participate in all the 3 days of the conference. That is 28th, 29th, and the 30th of December. And active participation is expected because there are a lot of national and international delegates who will be addressing their work. They will be explaining sharing their findings and learnings from their projects. So it's a great platform for you to learn and base your knowledge and build upon it in your future. Okay, so I wish you all the best for today's presentations. So right now, morning is the poster presentation. So let's begin the poster presentation. And just reminding you that you have 4 minutes to present and 1 minute for discussion. So when judges are asking you questions, please think and answer because there are marks that depend on your answers. Okay, Akshobhya, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, judges, please note that Akshobhya is from class 8. He was
Hello, sir.
unable to present on Sunday.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello.
Akshobhya, can you hear me?
Hello, sir. Can you
Akshobhya?
hear me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you.
To do that. We will have our own laptop and we'll manage. I was just thinking whether the mic and the this one was there in it because earlier events we were given the mic. So I thought if there is a functional mic, we will use that. If it is not there, we will
Hello, sir.
use that.
Akshobhya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. So judges, please note that Akshobhya is 8th standard. He was unable to present on Sunday. So we are just having one presentation from 8th standard and rest are all from the 11th and 12th standard and PUC category.
Hello, sir.
Akshobhya,
Yes, sir.
we can hear you. Just wait. I'll ask you to start. Okay.
Huh. Okay, sir.
Okay, Akshobhya, you can start when you're ready.
Namaste for one and all present here. My name is Akshobhya. I am from 8th standard. I am studying in Purna Pramanti Anandavana. So I am going to do about butterfly diversity of Anandavana. I choose this project because in Anandavana there were many butterflies seen, but there were no documentation about this. and they will be colorful, and they will be colorful, and they are known as the great pollinators. So this made me to choose this topic. And uh, um, I have my, I the materials which I used for this is laptop and mobile, and random sampling method. And in the future, I I like to assess butterfly diversity, and uh, I have I have got 21 species of butterfly belonging to 5 families. So uh, there are
Akshobhya, continue. Akshobhya, are you there? Akshobhya, can you hear me? I think he has some network issues. So we'll move to the next presentation. Akshay N.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay, sir. So, a very good morning to everyone. As suggested by the jury, today I'll be presenting on the topic renewable diesel. So, renewable diesel is a biomass derived fuel which is suitable for use in diesel engines. It is also called as hydrotreated vegetable oil or green diesel. So, how is it 100% renewable? It can be produced from various biomass sources such as lipids like vegetable oils, animal fats, greases, and algae, and cellulosic material such as crop residues, woody biomass, and dedicated energy crops. So, how is renewable diesel beneficial? 100% renewable diesel helps to reduce heavy duty traffic related emissions and improve air quality. It results in 33% lower levels of fine particulates, 9% less nitrogen oxides, 33% less hydrocarbons, 24% lower carbon monoxide emissions, and reduced levels of polyaromatic hydrocarbons. It also leads to high performance. Together with a high cetane number, the fuel ensures an efficient and clean combustion and provides the vehicle with extra power. And it has no blending limit. It can be used as 100% renewable diesel itself, or it can be used in any blending ratio with conventional diesel. It has excellent storage properties. The fuel can be stored over long periods without deterioration in quality or water accumulation. It also has a superior cold weather performance and is suitable for very cold weather conditions. Renewable diesel is also easy to use. It is fully compatible with existing fuel distribution infrastructure and also fully compatible with existing diesel engines. No additional investments are needed. So how is renewable diesel produced? It can be produced via different routes such as hydrotreating or hydroprocessing, pyrolysis, gasification, and other biochemical and thermochemical technologies. The most widespread among them is hydroprocessing technology. Hydroprocessing covers a range of catalytic processes, including hydrotreating and hydrocracking for removal of sulfur, oxygen, nitrogen, and metals. The process is critical in the production of low sulfur fuels to reduce emissions. The reaction is carried out in a hydrogen-rich environment. The process replaces sulfur or nitrogen contaminants in the hydrocarbon chains with hydrogen, making the process a consumer of hydrogen. So now let us compare renewable diesel with other forms of diesel. The low sulfur content, metal-free, and ash-free characteristics of renewable diesel make it a safer fuel for various applications. It possesses higher heating value as compared to other biofuels and higher energy content. Renewable diesel also shows excellent cold properties, which gives a high biomass for blending ratios possible all over the year, even in winter. The high cetane number and low density values make it more suitable for compression ignition engines. Moreover, the flash point is also higher compared to biodiesel for safe storage and transportation. The production of renewable diesel is expected to reach 6 to 7 million tons per year at the end of 2020 and up to 13 billion liters by 2024 globally. The global regulations and policies are playing a vital role in the development of renewable diesel production. Hence, renewable diesel has a great potential and could one day replace conventional diesel. Thank you.
Thank you, Akshay, for the presentation. Now let's see if judges have any questions for you.
Akshay,
Yes, ma'am.
what is the outcome of this study?
Ma'am, we are looking for a replacement for the conventional diesel. Over here, renewable diesel is less pollutive, ma'am. That's the main fact. And also, it uses normal vegetable oils and fats for its production, so it's 100% renewable too.
Okay.
So we are looking for a replacement for the conventional diesel, which we are exploiting natural resources right now for.
So, what do you think? Can this renewable diesel can replace the fuel needs of our country?
Yes, ma'am. If proper implementation is done and investment and if government policies are regulated, then I think it's possible, ma'am, implementing renewable diesel instead of the conventional diesel. And it's also being practiced by many companies already in different countries.
So, do you have any idea how much of this vegetable oil or the grease is required to produce this renewable diesel?
Ma'am, currently, I'm not sure about it. Can I get back to you, ma'am?
Okay.
Fine. Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Akshay, am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you know the national biodiesel policy in India?
I'm actually, no, ma'am, I'm not aware of it.
Any idea about what is the blending that has been used in India? Is
Ma'am,
biodiesel used in India?
biodiesel is renewable diesel is not used, ma'am. Biodiesel is actually being used, I guess, ma'am.
Different renewable diesel and biodiesel.
Ma'am, I can't hear you, ma'am.
How is biodiesel different from renewable diesel?
Biodiesel over here is produced from both. The similarity over here is both are produced from vegetable oils itself, but biodiesel uses a different process for its production, and it's called as transesterification. So the problem over here is that biodiesel, the process introduces oxygen into the fuel, and it can cause issues with freezing temperature, like algae growth, ma'am, due to oxygen content present in biodiesel, which is not present in renewable diesel. And biodiesel is actually being practiced at 5% to 20% ratio blended with the conventional diesel, ma'am. But renewable diesel can be used 100%, ma'am, without blending.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Akshay, do you know how much of diesel is consumed for Karnataka state or the India as a country every year?
Sir, actually, I don't know the exact value, but I can get back to you with the information.
Okay, thank you, Akshay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, judges. Now we'll move to the next presentation. Aditi V.
Yes, sir.
One moment. Yeah, you can start whenever you're ready.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Aditi V, studying class 11 in Vidyaniketan Public School. My topic is veganism. Human activities are aggravating major problems like climate change, ecological damage, water scarcity, and many more. They're all interconnected, and one collapse could cause a domino effect. Today, I will talk about a holistic but unfamiliar solution: veganism. Climate and land. Agriculture accounts for 24% of global greenhouse emissions, under which meat and dairy industry contributes to 60%. There are various reasons. Cattle animals are extremely flatulent, releasing greenhouse gases like methane and CO2, and we are talking billions of such animals worldwide. Emissions from factories also add to this. Large-scale deforestation occurs for grazing. In fact, 91% of Amazon rainforest destruction is caused by animal agriculture. Studies show that cutting such products could reduce a person's carbon footprint by up to 73%. Half of all the grains produced in the world is fed to livestock, which is 700 million tons per year. This amount of food could solve food shortage. Also, if everyone switched to plant-based food, global farmland usage would reduce by 70%. That is land equal to US, China, Australia, and European Union combined. So much of land could be used to repopulate trees or grow food for humans to eat again solving world hunger. Marine ecosystem and water conservation. Seafood is usually considered to be greener than other meat, but every year hundreds of thousands of marine animals and birds die due to being caught in nets and tackles. Overfishing due to high demand is depleting population of fish faster than they can replenish. Animal agriculture drains 70% of fresh water. Water is not only consumed by animals, but it is used for mixing feed, cleaning filth, muck, and remains from factories, slaughterhouses, and trucks. For example, in the table, crops, pulses, and cereals relatively have lesser water footprint than meat and dairy products due to all these factors. Also, these units like factories release waste into surrounding areas, mainly water bodies. For people, contaminated water is a problem, and as for the marine animals, the chemicals, fertilizers, and antibiotics released render that part of water body completely lifeless, called dead zones. Health. Various studies, including those conducted by WHO, have shown that eating animal products like meat increases the risk of heart attacks, strokes, diabetes, obesity, and specifically cancer. A vegan diet eliminates all of the unhealthy processing involving chemicals, hormones, and antibiotics and can fulfill the nutritional requirements when followed properly, including vitamin B12, which can be obtained from fortified food. Animal cruelty. Factory farming is the main cause of animal abuse. According to United Nations, around 50 billion animals are sent to be slaughtered every year. These are forcefully bred into existence and undergo inhumane treatment like artificial insemination, early separation of mothers from young ones, fattening farms, and lethal doses of chemicals and hormones. They are deprived of the life they deserve for one serving of food, which will be ultimately forgotten. According to a report published in 2017 conducted by University of Copenhagen, which compared a Mediterranean diet and a vegan diet, the latter proved to be more nutritious, had lesser impact on the environment, biodiversity, and even climate. This study concluded that a mix of the diets is sustainable, meaning that just reducing the intake of meat could be very beneficial. In conclusion, veganism is not a hapless diet for people who want to lose weight, as the myth exists. It is a wonderful solution that can save our planet from obscure exploitation and is healthy, eco friendly, animal friendly, as well as tasty for that matter, and is more viable than switching to electric cars and solar panels. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my teacher Sri Purna ma'am, the management of BPS, and the faculty of IISc for enabling me to present this talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditi. Now let's see if judges have any questions for you.
Aditi,
Yes, ma'am.
can you um, okay. Can you list the factors affecting the marine ecosystem?
Marine ecosystem, ma'am. Okay. Ma'am, one huge issue is overfishing, ma'am, because seafood is in high demand all over the world, and there are countries which do not eat that comes from cattle, but they consume more seafood. In such places, overfishing is a major problem, and also the factories have extremely unhygienic conditions, ma'am. That is why to keep the animals living, to keep them living there, they inject the animals with a lot of antibiotics and chemicals, and also to fatten those animals for maximum output, they give a lot of chemicals and hormones. All of these remains and chemicals are released into the surrounding water bodies, and they kill the life that is in the water body. So this is also affecting the marine ecosystem.
And Aditi, another question is how this project is benefited to the people. So, what is the message that you will give to citizens of our country?
Ma'am, I couldn't hear. Sorry, ma'am.
Okay. So, Aditi, what I
Yes,
want
ma'am.
to ask you is, what is the benefit of this project to our citizens?
Okay.
So,
Ma'am,
what is the message that you will give to our citizens in our country?
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, not many people are aware of the consequences of their diets on so many aspects, ma'am. Like so many aspects of environment itself. So that is why I wanted to make as many people as possible aware of the effect that that food is having, because food is something that people don't usually think very seriously about. So that is why I wanted to make them aware of the impact now. so that those who want to, they can switch to more sustainable ways of eating.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Aditi,
Yes, ma'am.
can you list any one disadvantage of following veganism?
Okay. Ma'am, there are disadvantages of veganism, but even they have some solutions, ma'am. And so I will start with nutrition, ma'am. Um, Plants are definitely do not have they are not as densely nutritional as meat, ma'am. So in vegan diets and vegetarian diets, the people will have to eat more amount of food compared to a meat based diet, because it is less dense in nutrition compared to meat. And also, soy farming, ma'am. Soy farming has very bad effects on the environment, and even that since vegans consume a lot of soy products, because they don't have, currently there are not many replacements. So that is one more disadvantage. Um, and these are the disadvantages that I came across, ma'am.
Thank you, Aditi.
Aditi, I have a question. Okay, let's say everybody in the world listening to your presentation will turn into veganism diet.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what do you think will happen to all the animals that have been reared?
Okay, sir. Actually, the animals that in factories, sir, only for the purpose of eating, animals are bred. They are bred, sir. Like the billions of animals that I mentioned, no, sir. They're all artificially bred into existence only to be fed to people. So that is not the natural population that is supposed to exist. So when everybody stops eating, automatically the demand for meat also comes down, and even the number of animals that are getting bred will also automatically decrease.
Correct. See, if you look at a global scale, there are a lot of poultry and cattle and other organisms that are treated as food. So, what will happen to all of those which are there as of today?
As of today, um, they will be let out into the natural pasture land, sir. So it will initially be very difficult, but when everybody switches to more switches to veganism, the population will gradually come down and it will become balanced, sir. It will be very difficult initially, but they were all artificially bred by humans only, sir. So we will have to face it. We will have to face it for a few years until it becomes normal.
Okay, thank you, Aditi. Are there any other questions for Aditi?
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Can you name some foods in the vegetarian diet which is rich in protein, like meat?
Okay. Um. Well, once pulses and yeah, pulses are very rich in protein, and like beans, and even uh, there is the quinoa that is also rich in protein, and lentils, and even nuts are also rich in protein, and even some whole grains are also rich in protein.
Okay.
Thank you, Aditi. Thank you, judges. Now let's move to the next presentation. Samriddha and Riddhi.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can start when you're ready.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Riddhi Jayaprakash here with Samruddha Pandit of grade 11th ACS Magnolia Marthi Public School. And today it's our pleasure to present the research project on the topic ecotourism in the Nilgiris district. Our main objectives are data collection and analysis of the number of tourists and study on the scope of ecotourism with SWOT analysis. We all are well aware of what is tourism and its adverse side effects on the ecosystem. The solution to this is ecotourism.
Ecotourism refers to responsible travel to natural areas that conserves the environment, sustains the well-being of the local people, and involves interpretation and education. We have chosen the Nilgiris district in the state of Tamil Nadu as our area of study as it is rich in biodiversity, has a pleasant climate, and has a huge potential to attract tourists from all over. There are four main types of activities that can be done while taking an eco-tour, namely eco-treks, eco-lodging, agro-tourism, and community development.
Now coming to the data collection analysis, the first bar chart that you can see illustrates the number of tourists visiting Tamil Nadu in the years 2015 to 18. But the rightmost Nilgiris group is our calculations from the percentages given the district diagnostic report, which said that there was 6.4% of the total tourist arrivals coming to Tamil Nadu had come to Nilgiris in 2018, and there was a 4% increase every year. This clearly shows an upward trend. The second graph we used, that's the area chart. You can see it illustrates the revenue that Nilgiris would get if a person spends a minimum of ₹1 while staying there. The revenue generated could be anywhere from 2.2 crores to 2.5 crores from 2015 to 2018. From the above results, we infer that if so much money can be earned from tourism and if this tourism can be converted to ecotourism, then it would be killing two birds with one stone. Considering this, we did a little bit of our research to find places which follow the principles of ecotourism. And the table over here shows such places in the Ooty Taluk. In the total Nilgiris district, there are more than 40 such places.
Our analysis from the data collected. The strengths include the scenic beauty and the rich cultural ethnicity of the Nilgiris, and also it boasts many ecotourism places. Whereas the weaknesses are there is a lack of proper legal framework and implementation of laws. There is no green transportation as such. There is no proper infrastructure to support ecotourism. The accommodations there are expensive, and there is a lack of public awareness about ecotourism.
The opportunities include people can escape a cycle of poverty and debt as businesses initiated can be self-sufficient within a short span of time, and this preservation of culture and tradition. But the threats include deforestation to build accommodations and displacement of locals from their homeland without proper compensation, and obviously greenwashing. Now coming to our views on how to convert these threats and weaknesses to a plus point are, afforestation and replanting should be taken care of, and there should be proper compensation to the locals who are displaced and give them a job in their area. There should be more rules and regulations, and they should check on organizations claiming that they are eco-friendly. There should be more emphasis given onto electrical vehicles and cycles. There should be public awareness camps through media, newspaper, and even social and even movies. And there should be more accommodations built to regulate the price of the accommodations. There should be more money invested in ecotourism as it can give high returns. In Odisha, when 56 crore was invested initially for 5 years from FY 16-17 to 2021, the return till now, till 1920, is 18 crores.
We would like to conclude by saying that to develop ecotourism in the Nilgiris, the locals should be involved in ecotourism projects. A survey on places which follow the principles of ecotourism should be conducted, and there should be proper implementation of laws in every place. We would like to thank IISc Bangalore for giving us such a wonderful opportunity. This project would not have been possible without the exceptional support and guidance of our director, Dr. Seema Goel ma'am, and other teachers. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, Riddhi and Samrita. Now let's take the questions from the judges.
What are the threats observed in Nilgiri district?
Ma'am, there's little bit of deforestation that occurs to build accommodations and infrastructure. And there's displacement of locals without proper compensation. That's the main two.
Okay, so can you explain agro-tourism in detail?
Ma'am, agro-tourism basically refers to tourism in which people can go to farms and ranches to see the agricultural activities. For example, in the Nilgiris district, we can take tea gardens or coffee gardens and how tea and coffee are produced from their plants.
Okay. And then what is greenwashing?
Greenwashing is basically when an organization or a hotel or something, they claim that they're eco-friendly, but they're actually also causing destruction to the ecosystem. They just keep the name green or eco-friendly or something so that they can attract more people towards them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Riddhi, what role can the locals play in encouraging ecotourism in their district?
Ma'am, if they are aware of what ecotourism is and how it would save their community and all that, then they can push the government. Like with more people demanding for something, the government will do things faster.
More specific, like how it is going to help the community, giving any example that you have seen in Nilgiris district.
Ma'am, for example, like tribal crafts and tribal crafts can be like sold to the travelers, and there can be a lot of revenue from that. Also, there can be museums for the cultural heritage built, which can also attract tourists, and in the form of entry fees they can earn a pretty lot of revenue.
Good answer. Thank you, Samvidha and Riddhi.
Thank you, ma'am.
Samrita and Riddhi, I have two things. The first thing is, I think it was Riddhi. When you were explaining about the Odisha, you said something about a plan for 2016 to 1921. What exactly was that?
So FY 2016 to 17, they had invested 56 crores under development of ecotourism project, and the tenure was for 5 years. That is like this financial year till this financial year. So we saw the reports and all, and we calculated they got about 18 crores till now.
Okay. I thought I heard 1921. That's why I was just checking what that was.
Okay, so it's 2021.
2021. Okay. And the other thing is, I want to know the difference between a trek and an eco trek.
Sir, basically trek means it's just like you take some kind of transport and go there, which cannot be eco-friendly also. For example, cars or bikes, whereas eco trek, and there is no rules on the people of like for garbage disposal, they can just litter here and there, whereas in eco trek it's done usually using like eco-friendly vehicles like cycle or even walking, and there is strict laws implemented for not throwing garbage, and basically it's to not harm the biodiversity and the plants and animals over there.
Okay, Samrita. For example, if I want to go for a trek in Western Ghats, how do you recommend I travel from here to there, which is over 450 kilometers?
Sir, like
you can use public transport till there, but
even now I am doing the same thing.
There's not.
See, why I am asking is, all this while I have been going for trekking. So when I saw the term eco trek, I was just curious of what is this and how it is different from what I am doing right now.
So you could probably be doing eco trek itself, unless you're using a bike or a car or something to go to the place, or like onto the trek, like the going up, right, that and coming down that one.
That is anyway by walk only. Trekking means that you are walking, you're hiking. I mean, you go on foot.
In Tamil Nadu, there are places where you can go with the car till the top.
Okay, that would not be called a trek, isn't it?
Yes, sir. So now they have made a thing in a few places of where you can also trek, but you have to take permission from the forest department, so that they can ensure that you don't
Correct.
do any.
That is the case. That is the case even now for a trekking, because anywhere where you're entering a forest area, you have to take the permission from the department. There are some places that has an entry fee, some places do not have. So based on that, you take a permission letter and then go.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just think about it. Like what's a trek and eco trek?
Sure,
because
sir.
both look like a
Yes, sir.
synonyms for me. Okay, all right. Any other questions for Samriddha and Riddhi? No other questions. So thank you, both of you, and thank you, judges. We'll move to the next presentation now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Abhinav, are you there?
Yes, sir.
You can start when you're ready.
Yes, sir. I will start, sir. Good morning to everyone present here. My name is Abhinav Chandrasekhar. Today, my topic is about sacred groves, and sacred groves are any group of trees that are of special religious importance to a particular culture. They feature in various cultures throughout the world, and they are also rich repositories of medicinal plants. They have wild relatives of crops and many important species, and it also act as valuable gene pool. They give much ecological and genetical significance and play an important role in wildlife conservation also. In India, there is about 40,000 endogamous groups with Hindu caste system, and about 13,270 sacred groves to be found intact. And we should know that 0.01% of total area of our country is covered by sacred groves, and about 42,000 hectares are of sacred groves. And let's know about the uses of sacred groves. As they serve as a seed source through dispersal by birds. They are also important refuges for rare and endangered medicinal plants. Also, due to transpiration in sacred groves, they increase atmospheric humidity, which reduces temperature, which helps the organisms living there comfortable. And sacred groves also play a crucial role in soil conservation by preventing soil erosion by water retention capacity. And they also they also protect the watersheds and water sources. And they provide very important ecological service to mankind. And in Karnataka, there are two main sacred groves, which are Devarakadu and Devarakans. And there are about 1,476 sacred groves in Karnataka, which has deities like Jatakappa, Bhutappa, Chaudamma, Mailara, Bhairava, and Govardhana. And Devarakadu is in Kodagu district, and it is named after a special deity. And it has about 1,214 Devarakadus in Kodagu district, and about 46 and it has 25 acres in size. Devrakado area has drastically reduced by 62% since 1905, which is an alarm for us. So, as degradation of sacred groves is growing, we should try to conserve. Conservation of sacred groves is important for our future. So, because of their uses, and they also have very good floristic wealth, medicinal importance, and they are strong basis for evolving measures for for our future. So we should conserve sacred groves for our future, so that our future is secure. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhinav, for the presentation. Now let's see if the judges have any questions for you.
Abhinav?
Yes, ma'am.
Give some examples of medicinal plants in sacred grove.
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Give some examples of medicinal plants in sacred grove.
Yes, ma'am. 1 minute, ma'am.
Please do not search for the information now. You can just tell what you know.
Yes, sir.
Then next question. Why we wanted to protect sacred groves?
Ma'am, because they protect very rare species and all. Some researchers have found that about some 10% of endangered species have been are getting recovered due to sacred groves, which is very important for the ecosystem, and also it has good floristic wealth and also medicinal plants which help for our future. So we should conserve sacred groves.
So have you visited any sacred grove?
No, ma'am, not yet.
So what are the ecosystem services provided by sacred groves?
Ma'am, once again.
What are the ecosystem services provided by sacred groves?
Ma'am, sacred groves protect species from getting endangered and which balance ecosystem, and also it makes favorable weather conditions for those species, which helps in rain management and all. So it helps in weather maintenance. So our it protects most of the species from getting endangered, which is main for ecosystem.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you name few sacred groves in Karnataka?
Ma'am, Devarakadu and Devarakans.
Where exactly is Devarakadu?
Devarakadu is in Kodagu district, ma'am. It is Devarakadu exists in all villages of Kodagu district, ma'am, and it is named after special deity.
What deity? What is the Devarakadu in Kodagu named after? You don't know any of the names, specific names?
Ma'am, 1 minute, ma'am.
You can answer if you know or you don't know. You don't have to search for the answers.
Yes, ma'am, I know.
And also, say
No, ma'am,
in
I
different
said
states.
just right.
In different states, what is
Yes, ma'am.
sacred grove known as in their local language?
Ma'am, Ma'am, in Karnataka, the notable deities are like Jatakappa, Bhutappa, Chaudamma, Mailara, Bhairava, and Govardhan, ma'am.
Okay, I think there are no further questions, Abhinav. Thank you, and
Yes,
thank
sir.
you, judges. We'll move to the next
Thank you.
presentation now. Belishri, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can start when you're ready.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. I am Belishri Beam of Class 12 from Vidyaniketan Public School, Ulal, Bangalore. Today, I'll be talking on the topic plastic pollution in the oceans. I chose this topic because plastic has become one of the most important materials used, and hence it's necessary to know its effects on the nature. Here, my objective would be to bring about the impact of plastic pollution in oceans, in marine animals, and some measures that can be taken. So materials and methods. So for this study, the sediment samples were collected bi-monthly during May 2011 to March 2012 from the beaches of Mumbai, from the top 2 centimeter of the high tide mark on the shore. So this sample was then dried, sieved, and introduced into a tank containing water and sodium chloride. So then the floating plastic particles were obtained, again dried, and sorted into the various categories of plastics. So results. So this study was actually conducted by the members of Aquatic Environment and Health Management Division in 2013 on the 4 beaches, as we can see in the map: Aksa, Warsaw, Juhu, and Dadar in Mumbai. So from the graph A, we can see that the plastic abundance in sediment was higher in May month as compared to other months. So similarly, from graph B, we can conclude that among the 4 beaches, plastic abundance by weight was much higher in the Dada sediment. So from another study conducted by Chris Wilcox and team in 2015, it says that buoys and ropes caused entanglement in marine animals, whereas plastic bags, balloons were mostly ingested by animals, and cigarette butts and plastic containers caused contamination. So from the same report, as we can see from the 4 maps there, it can be concluded that distribution of seabird species is also a factor which influences the plastic ingestion in the seabird species. It's not only the relative debris material, but even the distribution of seabird species that affects this plastic ingestion. So now plastic has 3 categories: microplastics, which are 0.1 micrometers to 5 millimeters, mesoplastics, which are 5 millimeters to 5 centimeters, and macroplastics, which are greater than 5 centimeters. So from this image, we can see the microplastics which have been obtained from the Christmas shearwater bird and amber striped catfish, and some meso and macroplastics found in the turtle and shark. So discussions and conclusions. So it has been predicted that roughly 12 billion metric tons of plastic will end up in the oceans by 2050. So this means that there'll be more plastic than fish in the ocean by 2050. So hence we need to take some immediate action to clean our oceans. So firstly, everyone can do this. So it is following the 4 R's: refuse, reuse, reduce, and recycling of plastic. Also, various policies should be made to reduce manufacturing of plastic. We can also create awareness among the younger generation about the hazards of usage of plastic, because plastic is even entering the human body and causing cancer and other diseases. So we can, as technology is improving, development of polymers which are safer and easily degradable can also be done. Further evaluation of the impacts of marine plastic helps us to understand the situation better. Also, Afroz Shah, who was a lawyer, tried to clean the Warsaw beach. It started in 2015 but ended in November 2017 due to non-clearance of garbage and abuse by goods. So therefore, the government must support and encourage citizens to join hands with people like Afroz Shah. So here are some of the references that have helped me in making the poster. Finally, I would like to thank my principal Vasuma ma'am and my biology teachers Shripurna ma'am and Snehalata ma'am. I would also like to thank TVR sir and the IASC team for giving me an opportunity to participate in Lake 2020. Thank you.
Okay, Belishri, thank you for the presentation. Let's see if the judges have any questions for you.
Yes.
Belishri?
Yes, ma'am.
How can we avoid plastic pollutions in our country?
Yes, ma'am. So, like, as the population is increasing, so more of the plastic is being used and thrown away. So, like, the major thing is what we can do, as I said earlier, was like to simply follow the 4 R's. Like, it's not even so difficult, but we can at least try to refuse plastic first of all, And then we have to reduce the manufacturing of plastics by various government policies. This so by starting, we can start with every home. We can like using simple jute bags instead of plastic bags. So this is refusing of plastics. So I think we can start like this from every home, ma'am.
So, what will happen to the animals, fishes, birds, or humans if they ingest plastics?
Yes, ma'am. So, like, majorly the marine animals are majorly getting affected. Like, they're getting entangled with plastic, which is hindering their movement. And it's like, and it's present in the natural ecosystem and environment. So they're losing, like, they're getting adapted to the new environment, which should not be done actually. Like, they're losing their originality. So, hence, and even humans, like, as these microplastics are so tiny, like, we cannot see them. So and by and it's even in the food it's being included. So like we are consuming microplastics and by even inhaling microplastics. So this is causing various diseases and all.
Okay, so another question is, have you done any experiments related to this project?
No, ma'am. I've just collected the information from the research papers and tried to understand what are the various impacts and some measures that can be taken.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Velishri,
Yes, ma'am.
so can you suggest any plastic management strategy for Karnataka beach?
Yes, ma'am. So like, so in the beaches, I think it's already been done. Like recycling bins have to be kept so that like people like who visit the beaches should put all the plastic materials or waste inside the bins if rather than putting it on the beach. So I think mostly this is being done. So like instead, and what can be done is keeping the plastic bins or even avoiding people, like we can even restrict people to take plastics into the beaches, ma'am.
And are there any programs monthly or yearly that is conducted on the beach for beach cleanup in India?
Actually, yes, ma'am. Actually, across the world, even single-handedly, even simple. Only one man is also has been doing. So there have been actually there are various programs even on this. Like as I told, Afroz Shah was a lawyer, so even he tried to clean the beach. So people who joined with him have also tried to clean, but it was not successful because like they couldn't actually, even the picked up garbage could not be actually cleared away, and also there was abuse by goons. So all this, but there are programs, ma'am, so anyone can join and even can help clean our beaches.
So another question is, how did they collect the sediment samples in the case study given?
Yes, ma'am. So like for this in they select the beaches, and like actually they take the areas on the beaches which are high tide marks. Like this is because like these are the places where the tide actually brings or washes out the plastic or other floating materials onto the beach. So this is the area where they can get most of the samples. So they like take us like a quadrant or a particular area, and from this like they can go to a depth of 2 centimeter or below that and take the sediment sample, and this can then be dried out, and like the plastic materials which can be seen by the naked eye can be collected just like that and sorted out into various categories, that is micro, meso and macro, and the other even microplastics which can't be seen. So these can be like introduced into water, like the sediment sample can be introduced into water, and then like the floating plastic particles, these can then be recovered, sorted, counted, and like analyzed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you name different sources of plastic pollution in the ocean?
Yes, ma'am. So the majorly it's we humans that who are like putting plastic into the oceans, like from the beaches itself, like whoever visit there, or like it ends up in the oceans. Also, the plastics which are getting collected and like picked up from the homes, like finally they usually end up in the composting areas. But even this, if it's near a ocean or some sea or lake, so this usually gets into finally ends up in the ocean. So this is how plastic ends up in the ocean.
Okay. And where do microplastics come from?
Yes, ma'am. So, like, actually, like the plastic material undergoes degradation. So this means that it gets broken down into more smaller and smaller pieces. So finally, like these, then it gets to a size where we can't even see. That is microplastics, and these are like present everywhere. So like it can't be seen, but okay, so it can't be seen. So this ends up like after the degradation it can be ingested even by the microorganisms. It ends up in their bodies, and like as we can't see, it can even end up in our human bodies.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Belishri? Okay, looks like no further questions, Belishri. So I have one clarification that is required.
Yes, sir.
For one of the questions you answered that, major source of plastic pollution into the waters or the ocean environment is from human littering around in the beaches.
Yes, sir.
On what grounds you are saying this? Do you have any data supporting that how much of plastic is getting into the marine environment from littering of people in the beaches?
No, sir, not actually a particular value, but it is one of the reasons, sir.
Okay, what would be the major contribution? From where does the major part of plastics get into the ocean?
Like from the industries, like they discharge the sewage, that can also contribute. Like it might even contain
Sewage water
plastic.
will have plastics?
The sewage water.
Yeah, sewage, what are the components of sewage water?
It contains metals, industrial materials, plastics, and then other.
Okay, thank you, Belishri. Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
judges. Now we'll move to the next presentation. Sanjana M.
Yes, sir, I'm here. Good morning to everyone present here. My name is Sanjana Madhavan and I am from Presidency School, Bangalore South, and my presentation is on the Madiwala Lake. Madiwala Lake is one of the biggest lakes in Bangalore. It lies in the southern fringes of the city and is spread across an area of 114.6 hectares. It comes under the Karnataka Forest Department and it is a popular recreational spot with boating facilities and bird watching activities. The objective of my project is to gauge the health of Madiwala Lake and to test the water quality and analyze the present status of ecological balance in this particular ecosystem. The layer of water hyacinth that used to cover the lake's surface was cleared in early November. Now, the growth of water hyacinth has drastically reduced, though the growth of another macrophyte called the alligator weed, which is an emergent plant, has increased. Macrophytes have major effects and contributions to the physical and chemical environment of the lake. They are the base of the food chain and thus are very important for supporting the wildlife wetlands biota. The proper amount of macrophytes is required for the proper sustainability of the wetland and its biota, but excessive growth of it can be harmful. Macrophytes rapidly increase in number and can form an overgrowth that can reduce the light that reaches the aquatic life as well as decrease the dissolved oxygen in the water. To maintain the proper balance, unwanted growth of macrophytes should be removed on a regular basis. On 15th November 2020, a water analysis test was conducted by me and my biology teacher, along with the help of Mr. Lohit from WWF and a Karnataka Forest Department official. We used the Jaltara standard water testing kit. On testing, we found the mentioned units for the respective physiochemical parameters. As it can be seen, the pH of the water body is slightly higher than the desired range. This shows the alkaline nature of the lake. The dissolved oxygen level is much lesser than the needed limit, which is not a good sign for aquatic life. Forest officials have also observed fish jumping out of the water. This behavior is only seen when the dissolved oxygen level in the water are less. To increase the levels, 2 artificial water fountains have been installed in the lake. The turbidity, which is the amount of suspended sediment in the water of the lake, is very high. This prevents more scattering of light, which also reduces the amount of light received by the underwater life organism. But even though the lake park is closed off to the public during this current pandemic, there is still a huge dump of garbage near the shores of the lake. Plastic bottles and other non biodegradable waste can still be found, which is highly dangerous to the wetlands biota. Over 130 birds were once documented in this lake park, but now no more than 30 native species can be found in the wetland. The measures taken by the WWF and so that maximum rejuvenation of the lake takes place to restore it to its former glory. The Madiwala Lake is a treasure worth looking after and it should not be neglected. The residents and citizens, along with the organizations, should do their best to ensure the lake stays healthy and vital. The below are the 2 references that I've used to make my project, and I'm grateful for the assistance of my biology teacher Indumati ma'am and Mr. Lohit from WWF and the Karnataka Forest Department officials and IASC for helping me with this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjana, for that presentation. Now let's see if judges have any questions for you.
Sanjana?
Yes, ma'am.
Which was the dominant macrophyte in Madiwala Lake?
Ma'am, as of when I visited the lake on 15th December, I could see that alligator weed were excessive in number. But when I'd gone there during August and September, it was the water hyacinth. But since they have been removed, the alligator weeds have increased. So as of now, it's the alligator weeds that are predominantly seen in the Madiwala Lake.
Then, what is the importance of DO in lakes?
Ma'am, the dissolved oxygen is important for the underwater aquatic life that lives in the waters, ma'am. If it's less, then there are less survival chances for the aquatic organisms. That's why dissolved oxygen is very important for their survival.
So another question is, how can we increase dissolved oxygen in lakes?
Ma'am, the WWF has come up with the water fountain system. There are 2 artificial water fountains that are actually placed in the Madiwala Lake. They are faulty at the moment and not working. The water fountains, they suck up the water from the base. They suck up the water from the lake and they shoot it up into the air, and thus that is helpful in increasing the DO. It was used in a regular basis, but then it's going through some problem right now when they're fixing it.
Okay. So also I observed that the turbidity has increased by this month, okay, by December 2020. So what is the reason behind that? Why there's an increase in the turbidity?
Ma'am, as of now, when we were doing the test, it was told that the turbidity was increased due to the excessive amount of sea. The dust particles have grown more since the water hyacinth have been removed. The lake is more prone to the dust particles in the air right now. when the water hyacinth used to cover the lake before, dust particles were not able to enter into the lake. But now that the surface has been cleared, dust particles have started entering in more, and thus more of the dissolved sediments are there present in the lake. That's why the turbidity has increased in this period.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, mom.
Sanjana,
Yes, mom.
according to you, how's the health of Madiwala Lake?
Mom, it is way better than what it was before, because before the lake water wasn't very visible. It was almost fully covered with the water hyacinth levels. Now that they've been removed, it's a bit better, but there are still more. There's litter that's been dumped in the shores, mom. Even though the public has not been allowed, the garbage that was dumped before the pandemic is still clearly visible in the lake, and the algal level has decreased, but it's still there. So it's improved, but it can still improve a bit more.
Okay, so how do you like improve these health of these lakes? And then is any one particular solution applicable to all the lakes, or how is it?
No, ma'am, there's not one particular solution that's there for all the lakes. All the lakes have different health gauges. For Madiwala Lake, the main cause of pollution is the sewage that's let into it by the inlets. There is a sewage treatment and STP, but it's not working at the moment. If that was fixed, then maybe the lakes health can improve, because the sewage is not treated. The sewage that's been let into the water is not treated as of now. So if that.
Thank you, Sanjana.
Okay, Sanjana, I have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
You said the sewage is not treated and it's directly being let out to the lake.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's say tomorrow it's all fixed and then it's working fine and the purified water is being released into the lake.
Yes, sir.
What are the different parameters that you have mentioned here that would change and how?
So the nitrate levels will change, even the phosphorus levels will change, because nitrate and phosphorus are one of the main nutrients that they're found in the sewage water. So they would mostly, sir, I'm not very sure about this, but the nutrients that are there, which is the nitrate and phosphorus, will mostly decrease.
Okay, thank you, Sanjana.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, judges. Now we'll move to the next presentation. Tarun, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can start when you're ready.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tarun KM. I am a student of class 11th Vidyaniketan Public School. My topic is marine pollution. As you all know, marine ecosystems are the largest of the Earth's aquatic ecosystems and are a biodiversity hotspot. And a major source of pollution in marine environment are oil spills. They involve the discharge of oil, petroleum, crude oil, etc. into the environment. Although it's often believed that oil spills are a result of large tanker spills, in reality they account for only 10% of the oil spill. Majority of it is through regular shipping operations and are largely land-based, as shown by the pie chart here. Impacts of oil spills on the ecosystem are huge. They can cause physical smothering or can cause toxicity and contamination. Endangering vulnerable species and loss of human livelihood are some of its other impacts. Now coming to the recovery process, in order to select the most appropriate cleanup technique, it is very necessary to understand the type and quantity of oil spilled, the weather conditions, geography of the area, and so on. Now under physical cleanup of oil spill, we have oil booms and skimmers. Using chemical dispersants and burning in situ are some other methods used. Natural recovery methods involve evaporation of pollutants, photooxidation by sunlight, dispersion, etc. All of these methods have drawbacks. For example, physical methods are labor intensive and expensive, while using dispersal agents and burning in situ are uncontrollable and can cause more damage. And natural recovery processes are slow. Now coming to bioremediation, it's of two types, bioaugmentation and biostimulation. Bioaugmentation is the addition of microorganisms capable of degrading toxic hydrocarbons into the affected site, and biostimulation is the addition of nutrients when there is an existing population of oil degrading microbes already present there. Now coming to the case study, Exxon Valdez oil spill was a tanker spill that took place in 1989 in Alaska, USA. About 10.8 million gallons of oil were spilled, causing an environmental damage of USD 755.2 million to the ecosystem. It caused the deaths of thousands of seabirds, killer whales, bald eagles, otters, etc. Initially, mechanical methods were used for cleanup and later chemical dispersants were used, but they were unsuccessful due to unfavorable conditions. This led to the use of bioremediation and thus fertilizers were added to the ocean. The use of bioremediation was proven successful as within 10 to 14 days, there was an exponential increase in microbial population and a noticeable reduction in oil. This showed that bioremediation worked. Some advantages of bioremediation are that it is cost effective, it doesn't require much labor, and it is environmental friendly. It is environmental friendly as it degrades oil into carbon dioxide, water, and biomass, which are totally harmless. Some of its disadvantages are that it is time consuming and depends on many variables. But more importantly, there is a lack of advanced research on the topic. If there is further research on the topic, we can reduce the time factor and reduce the dependency on variables by taking decisions based on scientific knowledge. In conclusion, I would like to say that bioremediation is a proven method of treatment of oil spills when it is followed by physical cleaning methods. It can be used as the only bioremediation method when cleanup of oil is not a great urgency. Exxon Valdez oil spill, although very tragic, has influenced further research on the technology. It finally led to bioremediation being declared as a safe method of cleanup of oil spills. Acknowledgements. I'd like to thank TV Ramachandra sir and Energy and Wetland Research Group at CES ISC for giving me this opportunity. I would also like to thank my parents for supporting me and helping me. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Tarun, for that presentation. Now let's see if judges have any questions for you.
Tarun?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you give examples for microbes used for bioremediation?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we have some microbes involve bacteria, yeast, and fungi also. So the names we have Alcaniorax borcumensis, which is a bacteria, and we also have Vibrio and just a second. I have written it down. Yeah.
Okay. How oil spill affect birds?
Ma'am, oil spills affect birds because it may cause contamination because it is toxic, and when it is ingested by the birds, it can be poisonous, and it gets stuck to the feathers of the birds. So by that, it reduces the thermal insulating effect of the feathers. So the birds are made vulnerable to the harsh environmental conditions.
Okay. Next question is, so you have shown two methods of bioremediation, biostimulation and bioaugmentation. So
Yes.
which is more efficient and why?
Ma'am, I think biostimulation is more efficient because in that we are just adding nutrients to the affected site. We are not introducing other microbes. And because if we introduce other microbes, that is exogenous microbes, then there may be competition between those microbes already present at the affected site. So there will be competition for food and shelter, etc. And that may decrease the efficiency in bioaugmentation. So biostimulation, we are just accelerating, we are just helping the uh, microbes to multiply and clean up the oil.
Okay, thank you.
Arun,
Yes, ma'am.
so in bioaugmentation and biosimulation, you have said you have used microorganisms, no? How exactly does this microorganisms helps in degrading oil? Like what mechanism do they use?
Ma'am, the oil or crude oil, whichever it is made up of polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs. So these microbes, what they do is they degrade the PAH, which is an alkane, into alcohols. Then
How?
it's it degrades it. It
Like
sits.
yeah, how do they degrade it?
It, it consumes it.
They
It's
consume the oil.
yes, ma'am. I think so.
You
Because
sure?
I'm not exactly sure, ma'am. I'll find out more about it.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Shall I go ahead, ma'am?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so the PAH, which is converted into alcohol by the bacteria or the microbes, and then on the alcohol on further oxidation becomes aldehydes, which on further oxidation it turns into an acid and eventually it gives out carbon dioxide, water, and biomass, which are totally harmless to the environment.
And can you give us a demerit of these two bioremediation process?
Ma'am, they are time consuming and it takes lot of time, not too much, but they take more than what is taken by other methods. And additionally, they depend on many variables. Like, as I said, there may be competition with the indigenous microbes and they may not adapt quite well with the surroundings if they are added. And and other methods on the conditions, temperature, weather, etc.
Has this been implemented in any of the coast where oil spill has taken place?
Yes, ma'am. In the Exxon Valdez oil spill, it has been implemented, and
Which particular process?
bioremediation. Okay, ma'am. In Exxon Valdez oil spill, biostimulation was used.
What
Fertilizers.
was the organism that was existing already there?
Um, Ma'am, I don't know about the name or the species of the microbes, but I just know that there were indigenous microbes already present. I'll find out more about it.
Thank you, Tarun.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me how marine pollution is going to affect humans?
Ma'am, there are many impacts that the marine pollution can have on humans. One of its impact is that it affects the fisheries. For example, due to the oil spill or plastic or whichever form of pollution, it causes the death of many fishes and fisheries, those fishermen, they are affected. And then tourism industry and the coastal areas, the local economy in the coastal areas, they are also affected. And if we use the seawater for any purpose, then it may also cause contamination.
Is it not going to affect human health in any ways?
If we do not use it, if we use it without filtration or any other thing, then it may not affect it. Then it may affect us.
Okay.
Are there any other questions for Tarun? Tarun, looks like there are no further questions. So thank you, and thank you, judges. We'll move to the next presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Samir, are you there?
Yes, sir.
You can start when you're ready.
Yes, sir. Good morning to everyone present here. My name is Samir Vari, and I'm going to be presenting my poster on the topic pelicans in the Hulimavu Lake. So first, we need to talk about the phenomenon. Usually, every year in the month of October, pelicans, mainly the spot-billed pelican, has been observed to appear in the Hulimavu Lake over a period of a few months. However, according to observations made by the Hulimavu Kera Taranga organization, this year there were no sightings of these pelicans anywhere around the lake. The objective of this research is to find out the reason why the pelicans were not spotted this year in the lake and also find a possible solution to this problem. The area of research is the Hulimavu Lake, which is a 124-acre lake and is one of the most diverse and has one of the most diverse ecosystems in Bangalore. We need to first understand a little bit about spot-billed pelicans. Spot-billed pelican is a member of the pelican family. It breeds in southern Asia. The bird generally lives near large lakes. They may be differentiated from other species by their characteristics like their grayish color and curly feathers on the back of their neck. They also breed. They also breed in the month of October, and this breeding period lasts for about 30 days. The observations that I've made in during this research are pelicans usually arrived in the month of October, so we can conclude that they come for breeding purposes. Last year, in the month of September, floods were caused due to the lake breach. And due to these floods, number of birds, the population of birds, the population of fishes and insects in the water had decreased drastically. Also, a new STP plant was set up near the lake, which is known to have released semi-treated sewage into the lake. Fishermen who usually introduced baby fishes every year into the lake were not allowed, for cultivation purposes, were not allowed to do the same this year. From these observations, we can conclude some possible reasons as of why the pelicans didn't arrive to the lake this year. And some of them are decreased in population of fishes resulted in lesser food available for the pelicans uh, and for their next generations. The sewage that was released into the lake contains nitrate ammonium and is high in alkalinity. This toxicated the lake and also this toxicated the lake water and also the fishes that live in the lake. Uh, uh, Fishermen that released fishes such as tilapia into the lake every year could not do the same this year, which might have reduced the food available for the pelicans to feed on. From these possible reasons, we can conclude three main reasons as of why the pelicans didn't arrive to the lake this year. And they are number one, flooding due to encroachment of the lake. Number two, release of sewage into the lake from the STP plant. And number three, absence of baby fishes released by fishermen. Thank you. And I would like to acknowledge my school BJS MPS and IIC for giving me this opportunity and Hurimavu Kera Taranga organization for research data. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, Samir. So now let's take the questions from the judges.
Samir,
Yes, ma'am.
what is the scientific name of spot-billed pelican?
Ma'am, I'm not really sure about scientific name.
Okay. Then, what are the ecological significance from pelicans?
Ma'am, the pelicans, they'll help in maintaining the balance of the ecosystem and the food chain of the marine ecosystem, and they also feed on dead meat. They scavenge on them, which can help improve the environmental conditions.
So next question is, what is the main diet of pelicans?
Ma'am, they feed on small fishes. I'm not really sure about any specific fish, but it's just small fishes.
So how much amount of fishes do they require? Do they consume per day?
Ma'am, I think it's about 5 pounds. Not sure.
Okay, thank you.
Samir,
Yes, ma'am.
are these pelicans of any cultural importance in any of the countries
Uh, Ma'am,
you
I'm
have
not sure
come
about
across?
cultural importance.
And what is the lifespan of these pelicans?
Uh, Ma'am, I'm not sure. Sorry. I can check and confirm.
Thank you, Samir.
Okay, Samir, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you are saying that the pelicans did not come to Hulimavu Lake because of so and so reasons that you have quoted here. So have you checked in and around other lakes which are close by to Hulimavu where pelicans might or might not have visited this year?
Uh, Sir, no, sir.
The reason for my question is, what if on the way to Bangalore or somewhere in Bangalore, somewhere else, they have found abundance of resources for which they have all gathered there instead of coming into these places where the resources are scarce?
So then that does not explain why pelicans came to this lake the previous years.
See, there
They
are
could have also
rejuvenation done.
encountered these resources in the previous years.
What I'm saying is this year, maybe there is availability of food elsewhere because of lockdown and everything. Maybe fishing was not done somewhere. So there's more number of fishes there and all the pelicans have gathered there instead of coming into small pockets of lakes, which provide limited resources.
Yes, so that is a possibility. But then I did research on what changes occurred in the Hulimavu Lake for the pelicans not to
Hulimavu.
arrive
But you
here.
have not checked in the lakes around the Hulimavu Lake.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think that concludes the questions, Samir. Thank you. And thank you, judges. We'll move to the next presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Divyansh,
Yes, sir, I'm there.
you can start when you're ready.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Divyansh Maurya from Vidyaniketan Public School. I am going to speak on the topic of anthropogenic disasters. I'm focusing on light pollution. Light pollution is the presence of anthropogenic and artificial light in the night environment. It is also a side effect of the current going on urbanization and industrialization processes. There are various types of light pollution. The main five are shown as pictures here. The first one is referred as light trespass, wherein the light from one place gets into some other place where it is not required. The second one is over illumination, which is excessive light present in a place where it is not required. Then there is glare. Glare is a very bright light source present which just provides too much light, and it can cause some issues such as headaches and nausea. The next is light clutter. Light clutter is excessive grouping of lights, wherein many lights are grouped at the same place, whereas instead of them, one or two lights would have been sufficient there. The last one is sky glow, which refers to the light spreading out into the atmosphere and causing the sky to glow, and it makes the night sky look uh, quite very. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Last one is sky glow, wherein the excessive night light gets into the sky and causes the sky a glowing feature on it. Then here there are four maps which compares the light pollution in India over the years. The first one is of 1988, wherein we can see that the intensity of light pollution is very less, and in most of the places it is not present. The very next map is of 1998, wherein you can see that there is a surge of light pollution in metropolitan cities such as Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, etc. Then the third map shows the light pollution condition in 2008, and it is pretty well seen that it has covered over uh, all over India. Then the next one is of 2018. Here there is a slight decrease because there were some small steps taken by some big companies where to stop the light pollution. Then there is a small map of the world which shows the dark areas of the whole world, which wherein there is minimalistic light pollution. Of there isn't there are no areas in the Indian subcontinent which qualify as that. Then there are various effects of light pollution on various parts of the ecosystem. The first we'll look into the effects of plants. When plants are exposed to light, uh, excessive bright light, especially in the night, they undergo they undergo two short nights, which have adverse effects such as flowering and dormancy, and also it indirectly contributes to algal bloom. Then there are various effects on animals as well, and it also affects humans and astronomy. Then there is this technology which helps to reduce light pollution. It was designed by Eric David Loffer. It consists of radar units which help to monitor light in on highways, and it helps to turn off the lights when required and turn on in the places where it is required. The main thing which we have to follow to control light pollution is to use sensors and timers and better technology, and don't waste and don't overlight. Even government should take appropriate measures to curb light pollution. I would like to conclude that light pollution is in its rising stage, and it can be dangerous if neglected. Therefore, I hope that government takes proper initiatives and we are able to curb it. I would like to thank my teachers and ISC for uh, helping me to take part in this conference.
Thank you, Divyansh, for that presentation. Now let's listen to the questions from the judges.
Divyansh,
Yes, ma'am.
what are the adverse impacts of light pollution on humans?
The main is that it affects the circadian rhythm of the humans. There is something called a suprachiasmatic nucleus present in humans, which responds to the various light changes, and therefore the sleep cycle is affected. And if we don't get proper sleep, our biological processes are also affected.
So next question is how breeding of turtles are affected due to light pollution?
Now the thing is, turtles, they usually the eggs they usually try to orient themselves to uh, high uh, high fre- high intensity of lights. If usually this happens in night, what happens is that when the turtles hatch, they usually rather than following the moon, they follow the bright lights on the street, and they, rather than going into the coasts, into the water, they end up on the roads and they are killed.
Divyansh,
Yes, ma'am.
how as an individual would you contribute in lowering light pollution?
I would try to use better light bulbs rather than I would use metal halide lamps rather than the old mercury lamps. I would also encourage my parents to have better shades over our windows so that the light does not get transferred into the atmosphere.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Divyansh? Okay, Divyansh, looks like there are no other questions. So thank you, and thank you, judges. I think that concludes all the presentation for today. So I thank all the participants who have taken the efforts to do the projects and present it today. So I congratulate you all on participation in the Lake 2020. Okay, now in the afternoon, we have the paper presentation starting at 2 p.m. I request all of you to stream into YouTube and watch the presentations. And also on 28th, 29th, and 30th, it is mandatory for all of you to watch the expert talks and interact with them. So there are different topics that are scheduled. So you will be receiving the schedule soon, and you can listen to all of them and interact with them. And most active participants will be selected, and also their presentations for today that will be considered and will be called in to attend the conference on the last day at the venue. So other than that, I think good job done by all of you. So we will collate the results and identify the Sahyadri Young Ecologist for this year and for the category of 11th and 12th and PUC, and announce that during the conference of 28th to 30th December. Okay, so I wish all of you the very best, and do sign in the afternoon for the paper presentation session in YouTube. All the best. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Stop. Where is stop?
It's not my duty.
Oh.